The apocalypse never begins like you think it will. These were the last words of my great-great-grandfather, Harrison Potter Jones, the mad archaeologist. And so, every morning when I awaken to discover that things are a little too perfect, when the sun is shining and the sky is clear and blue and the breeze is just so, and no fire-breathing snakes are raining from the clouds, I think, yes, this must be it, the beginning of the end. And so it was, on such an unremarkable day, when the sun was perhaps a little too warm, but the autumn breeze was brilliant and absolutely no snakes or anything else peculiar was falling from the sky, that the very fabric of reality began to unravel. Hello, Sal, darling, it's me. Aren't you thrilled? It's me. It's Lucy. Lucy Jones. Now, you know I love you madly and all, but this new title you've slapped on my book is entirely unacceptable. Look, I'm not daft. I know exactly what you're doing. And I'm not entirely against it. The Mummy's Curse. Did you really think I'd go for that one? Look, Sal, I'm happy to devote a couple of chapters to all this weird stuff, and I even promised to have some fun with it in order to move a few more copies. Now, you listen to me, Sal. That part of the story cannot overshadow his actual accomplishments. And this is important, Sal. It matters. Before his last notes about mummies and ancient resurrected gods are published by every newspaper in the country, Harrison Potter Jones was one of the most important archaeologists who ever lived. And you know that's true. Yes, of course we can discuss all of this when you arrive. Till Monday, then. I hope your plane crashes.
Well, that seemed to go well.
The man's insufferable. Thank you, Josephine. You know you don't have time to make coffee and such. I can do all that.
It's my pleasure, madam.
I really just need some research and some running about here and there.
I understand, madam.
Curse of the Mummy. After all those things were printed, nobody bothered to really go back and look at what my great-great-grandfather was working on in the months leading up to his suicide. Obviously, some of it is insane gibberish about ghosts from deep space and malevolent multidimensional monsters. But he was also pulling things out of the sand. Things that were unlike anything that anyone has ever seen before. And some of his theories, especially about Egyptian cosmology. I'm ranting again, aren't I?
Only a little.
I really am very sorry. You put up with so much, and never a complaint. If you need to take the rest of the day, I need to file some paperwork with the Museum of Antiquities. See if I can just spend a few more moments with.
It's no problem at all, ma'am. And thank you. A little time off would suit me. It would suit you too.
Oh, Josephine, you know what they say. Time enough to sleep in the grave.
I suspect so, madam. I suspect so. And madam.
After all these years, after all our families have...
Madam!
Please call me Lucy.
What of the artifact? Have you spoken to Mr. Salvador about it?
No, it hasn't come up in the conversation.
Though I long to see the day when it was returned to Egypt, I believe that it's probably for the best, madam.
As do I, Josephine. As do I. And Josephine, your family.
Please.
The way your family, kept it secret for so long and so safe, through good times, hard times.
And which good times are you referring to, madam? For my family, that is. I never believed that insanity runs in the blood of your family. But, as you well know, I believe in the Ancient Ones, and the curse. And I someday hope to have you return the artifact to a museum and get rid of all this foolish...
You're making too much of it.
Maybe I am, but since you've started examining the artifact, I felt something has changed. I can feel it. And not only can I feel it, I can see it. Hanging in the air, burning in the eyes of every dead face appearing in the street.
Don't be ridiculous.
Something is awakening, and it's you who are calling it.
You sound like him.
He was right.
He was mad.
Yes, he was mad. And if I must say, you're following a little too closely in his footsteps.
I didn't let on at first, although I felt quite transparent. I also sensed that something had changed, that something new, or rather something very old, but new to our world, had crossed over from some ghastly other place existing outside of space and time. Everything had changed. Josephine had changed. I had changed. We were no longer ourselves. And although I was fully aware of everything going on around me, and felt like I was in control of my own life and actions, I recognized, although I cannot say how, that everything was artificial. I could feel this thing or force from another dimension, just barely present but so strong, and it was controlling me, telling me it wasn't really there, making me feel like everything was normal, but nothing was normal, and it never would be again. Ah, no, I see. The language is so clear to me. Athoth, Shargoth, Notosh. 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 I see a shooting star. I see a shooting star. Increasingly, I found myself unwilling or unable to leave the house, although I often forced myself to do so. And on these excursions, I noticed the changes I observed in myself and in Josephine were also taking place in others. In some cases, the changes were subtle, a smile a little too broad or hollowness in the eyes. In other cases, the physical change was unmistakable, and nightly the TV news reported so many atrocities and so much bizarre, inhuman behavior that it all began to seem normal. I see.
What have you done with the artifact?
I've only been studying it.
The words. Did you speak the words?
I don't have time for this, Josephine. Sal will be here any minute.
No, he won't.
Really? Why not?
His plane crashed.
No, it can't. It can't be.
Where are you going?
I've got work to do. It was clear, of course, that the artifact needed to be destroyed. And more than destroyed, this ancient evil from before the dawn of time needed to be erased from all human memory. I knew this. Of course I did. But I was no more able to do the job myself than I was able to part the ocean and walk across. It was calling me again and again to hold it and say the words. Athoth, Shargoth, Notosh. Athoth, Shargoth, Notosh.
You need to return the artifact to Egypt, to the earth, or just destroy it. Can't you see what it's doing to you? What it's doing to me? Have you seen the creatures on the street that were once human? What have you done? What
What had I done? And why did I feel so little horror as I raised the knife and brought it down again and again and again? I felt as my great-great-grandfather must have as he gazed upon the lost city for the first time. But still, something was wrong. I could hear the words in the air, in that ancient and ghastly language, but this time I wasn't speaking them. The police don't understand, and I don't expect them to, and I never expect to be released into the world again. But that's all right, because I'm free. At last, I'm finally free.
Let Dracula kiss your neck. Let the devil take you down to heck. Get attacked by Pennywise. Get zapped by giant floating eyes. Scary ways to die. So many scary ways to die. Scary ways to die. So many scary ways to die. Go camping on a full moon. Take a dip in the Black Lagoon. Stare into Medusa's face. Meet a giant spider at her place. Scary ways to die. So many scary ways to die. Scary ways to die. So many scary ways to die. Jump into a pool full of piranhas. Pull a prank on all the monsters' mamas. Steal a little bit of Bigfoot's foot cream. Get in the way when Godzilla's crossing. Can't really happen, but they're quite possibly. Scariest ways to die. Scariest ways to die. Scariest ways to die. So many scary ways to die. Have a safe Halloween. A message from Kisses in Stereo.